So, a few years ago, I wrote a book, and the book is called Spiritually Fierce. And this book is a philosophy and praxis for intuition development beyond the trinkets and superstitions of the New Age. And why this book matters, in my humble opinion, is because we have largely been sold a very superficial idea of intuition. And I wanted to bring together all of the most rigorous science, the evidence, and the true understanding of intuition as a form of intelligence. And I wrote it all down in this book called Spiritually Fierce, which is also a program that has been taken by hundreds, if not thousands of people all over the world. And the book itself has sold thousands of copies. And why I think it resonates and why I'm sharing it today is not only should you go out and grab that book because it has so much in it that will support you to take your understanding of intuition beyond these superficial ideas of crystals or oracle cards or the externalization of intuition in any way, any of the trinkets, the ideas that are superficial, that are shallow, that are not evidence-based, and instead replace it with an incredibly rigorous, evidence-based, trauma-informed, tested model of intuition development that ultimately is something that can go beyond the context of the spiritual world, right? So a conversation that is translatable into any context. And the last keynote I gave was, in fact, to a room full of accountants, and it was beautifully received because this is the next wave of intelligence, right? So we've had our EQ, our emotional intelligence wave. We understand so much more about the richness of the ways that we interpret and make meaning out of the world, the way we can optimize our lives. And intuitive intelligence is the next wave. And I am so passionate about it that I have built an entire institute, the Institute for Intuitive Intelligence, around this idea of intuition, not as a new age ghetto idea, not as something that only works if you smell of patchouli and you put your crystals out under the full moon, but for educated, sophisticated, critical thinking humans who want to engage with intuition in a way that they can trust, right? So in order to do that, we need to provide evidence, and that evidence is in rich abundance in the world. And I spent many years developing the ideas that I present in Spiritually Fierce, not just through my own praxis of using it with my clients and students, but by doing a literature review of all of the information that's available to help us understand the true nature of intuition as a form of intelligence, our highest form of intelligence. And I'll tell you one quick little fact about intuition that may or may not blow your mind. It certainly blew my mind when I first heard about it. So the location of our intuition is not our third eye, as we are so often taught. We can think of the third eye as the periscope, and the third eye chakra being that center of the pineal, pituitary, and hypothalamus in the brain. And this combination of the hormones that are secreted by the pineal pituitary glands and their function in developing our intuition, it can be thought of as the periscope of our intuition. But intuition resides in the heart. And the heart is in possession of a brain. And the brain in the heart is 40,000 neural cells that are clustered together. Very different to the gut brain, which is a broad distribution of neural cells. But these neural cells are clustered, they're concentrated. And we know through the incredible work of Heart Math Institute that this brain in the heart sends more information to the cranial brain than the other way around. This in itself is exceptionally exciting and interesting and helps us understand why we often lead with our heart in our decision making rather than our analytical cranial brain activity, right? We make choices that are ontological. This means that we're not just using evidence to make our decisions. We'd live in a very different world if we did. we are informed by something greater than what the cranial brain can produce alone in our understanding. And so this idea of leading with the heart is not just a Hallmark card idea, but in fact, biological truth. This heart brain is connected to or produces the largest electromagnetic field of any part of the body. And that electromagnetic field connects us to the quantum field, the inherent interconnectedness of all consciousness. So we have access through the heart brain to a far bigger library of wisdom than we do when we are simply operating from our cranial brain. This has been rigorously tested again and again by HeartMath Institute. And what we learn from this is that the heart is precognitive. It knows information prior to the information being received through cause and effect, which is the function of a Newtonian universe. Intuitive intelligence is the function of a quantum universe. And when we understand the inherent interconnectedness of all consciousness, and we understand the heart brain producing the largest electromagnetic field to connect us to that quantum field, we can begin to understand how we are receiving understanding, wisdom, and making decisions from a higher order of intelligence than when we simply rely on the lived experience that our brain can use to make decisions. So this sort of information is what I share in Spiritually Fierce. And why I want you to know about it today is because it is so important to me that we are not limited to an understanding of intuition that is about, crystals or tarot cards or looking outside of ourselves as though intuition is a gift that a few people have. Our biology is the technology of our intuition, and we all possess it in equal measure. Yes, some of us are born with perhaps a more immediate connection, but it is entirely trainable and it is entirely turn-onable when we are willing to do the work of creating the conditions for our intuitive intelligence, which has nothing to do with any of the spiritual New Age BS. It is about creating nervous system fitness. It is about creating the conditions that reduce stress in our biology, because stress is a repellent to that sense of inherent interconnectedness. And we know this, right? When we feel stressed, anxious, out of sorts in our own being, we don't feel positively connected to those around us or to a bigger sense of meaning. We shut down, we move into our sympathetic nervous system, and we feel isolated and alone. And this is the opposite of the state that we need to be in when we are working with our intuitive intelligence. So the first part of becoming intuitively intelligent is to learn how to create nervous system fitness. Our whole system of developing intuition with the Institute is based on a trauma-informed, embodied process that really supports you to become not only regulated in your own being, but a regulator of all the environments that you are participating in. So this means that you developing your highest form of intuition, of intelligence, is in fact a blessing or an offer to the world, because you bring all others into a deeper connection just by your own presence. All of this information I am sharing because at the moment we are developing the first ever publicly available certified intuition teacher training that the Institute has offered. So we are supporting those who are willing to take the conversation and understanding of intuition beyond the trinkets and superstitions of the New Age, and to step into their authority not only as teachers, but to have the rights to teach this incredibly revolutionary content. So the contents of this book, for those who are willing and ready, will be part of what you receive the rights to when you join Acarya, which is our Certified Intuition Teacher program. We are also supporting you as the wisdom keeper in this program to elevate your power and inner authority to teach, right? So there are so many component parts to being life-changing, soul-shaking spiritual teacher. And I want to enable those who are the wisdom keepers to not only have the most revolutionary form of intuition development in their hands, but to be able to share it in a way that changes the hearts and minds of those that they serve. So this program is multifaceted. It increases your capacity for the ability to teach in a transformational way, to design your own programs that will bring a new level of quality to your service, and to use the contents of this book in whatever way you are creating in your own service. You can teach it as I have taught it, or you can develop it in connection to the other things that you are passionate about. And what I care about most is empowering those who can lead to do so with that spiritual self-esteem, with that fearlessness, with that willingness to get better, to get louder, to take up more space. Acarya is our certified intuition teacher qualification. There is nothing else like this in the world, and it will elevate every aspect of your capacity to share your wisdom, to evolve the understanding of this next wave of intuition development. It is so rich and abundant, and it's something that I have spent decades learning how to embody. And that's truly what we are doing. When we come into intuitive intelligence, when we are moving beyond the superficial ideas of intuition, when we are stepping into our teacher archetype, we are elevating and maturing these ideas in service to a world that is so desperately in need of a spirituality that is not another version of distraction, of retail therapy, of entertainment. It is about bringing a gravity, a gravitas, a depth, a power and authority to this work so that we can walk into a room of accountants or engineers or, meditators, whoever it is, and transfer this knowledge in a way that makes them feel safe to receive it. And to do that, we must be grounded and embodied in that. Acarya is the Sanskrit word for teacher, a teacher who does not just teach by the words that they offer, but by their actions. They are an embodied representation or demonstration of all that they offer. And this is the next wave of the spiritual teacher. We have seen the guru age come to a crashing end as we see teachers who are not embodying the wisdom that they offer, who are in contradiction to what they preach. And that time is over. We are in the age of congruence, where we need to see, feel, know that the person who is leading us to a deeper understanding is in fact embodying what they offer. And so Acarya is your opportunity not only to elevate your teacher archetype, but to become congruent between what you say and what you do. It is a revolutionary approach to intuition development. It is a profound gift to your teacher. It is a space of professional development and personal development. It is a journey to become the demonstration of all that you offer and to supercharge your service. I will be sharing more about Acarya in the coming weeks. We will be opening enrollments at the end of this month, and there are lots of wonderful ways to get to know if this program is right for you. I will be sharing the link in the comments, and make sure that you get this information if it excites you. But this is certainly a qualification that for those who are excited about becoming more of the teacher or finding that archetype within themselves of stepping into their leadership with authority, with the evidence to back up everything they say, and to feel deeply congruent to lead the revolution in this time where we must not hesitate, we must not delay, we must be willing to step out of our fears and to step into leadership, because the world needs us now more than ever. Have the most glorious day, and I will see you very soon.